So Cabinet has made the decision to reopen the country's 20 land borders tomorrow. The entry points were closed last month to slow the increase in COVID-19 infections. Let's get you more details. We're joined by Home Affairs spokesperson Siya Qoza. Siya, very good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for joining us. So what informed this decision?
Good afternoon, Dudu. Thanks very much for the opportunity of talking to you and your viewers. Cabinet has taken a decision that the 20 land borders which were closed on January the 11th should be reopened, and as a result of that, the minister has decided to visit some of the busiest ports of entry. The minister will be at Libombo tomorrow. The deputy minister will be at Beitbridge. The Director General will be at Maseru Bridge and Fixbeck. Maseru Bridge and Fixbeck are the borders with Lesotho. Libombo is bordering Mozambique, and Beitbridge, Zimbabwe. So the reason that they are undertaking this visit is to make sure that the plans that have been put in place for the reopening are being implemented.
And why are we reopening them? Is it because we're seeing a decrease in the number of infections?
Well, Cabinet had made that determination. What the department had to do then was to implement the decision. Having said that, it is actually important to remember that anyone who comes into South Africa is still subject to the health protocols, which means that they need to have the COVID-19 certificate, and everyone needs to be tested or screened if they already have a COVID-19 certificate. What we wanted to do was to avoid having those ports of entry being super spreader events. So the plans that were developed in the past 4 weeks were aimed at minimizing the chances of that happening. The plans themselves rely quite heavily on greater cooperation with neighboring countries and also the provincial authorities. For an example, for traffic management, we rely very heavily on the provincial departments of transport.
What are some of the rules that have been implemented to curb these super spreader events, if you will?
Well, the cooperation between the countries is such that people would be allowed to come in, only a limited number of people would be allowed to come in through the border. If you think about it, it's similar to what happens when you go to one of these popular shops where you would have a large number of people coming in. So the owners of the shop would normally control entrance, and once you have a certain number of people inside, you then temporarily suspend entry until those people are assisted. We want to do a similar thing with the borders. We want to make sure that at any one time there is a limited number of people who are inside the ports, so that they don't gather there in large numbers and then cause risks for super spreader.
How will that be determined, or how exactly will that be done?
Well, when you get to the border, to the port, you get processed on two sides. So one in the country that you are coming from, and two in the country where you are entering. So there is communication between immigration officials of the two countries. So the immigration officials would know how many people have already crossed, and those people would be in the space between the two immigration officers. So at a certain number, depending on how many officials are on duty. Once we know that you've got a certain number of people inside the port environment, we then temporarily suspend the service until you clear the people who are inside, and then you start allowing others to come in as well, after you've cleared the port.
The issue of fake COVID-19 tests was also quite big in the past couple of months. What is the plan where that is concerned?
The one part is that working with the Department of Health and the military health personnel as well, we are increasing the number of people who are on the ground inside the ports. And if anyone presents themselves with a fake certificate, the minister has asked that person be denied entry, and that person must not be allowed to come back into the country because they've tried to come in with fake documents.
Thank you very much for that. Siya Qoza speaks on behalf of the Home Affairs Department.